Hello, family. What's up? It is the one and only African superstar. Yes, guys, back at it again. I actually received last week a few emails from the platform because I have been scarce and there really hasn't been much content. And I kind of want to go over that before I get into this video. I am the one and only, the only African superstar representing from Accra, Ghana. I'm an award winning musician, as you can see my accolades behind me. Yes, I'm a social media personality, a motivational speaker, and all over advocate of the continent, my people, and Black love. And I want to talk a little bit about the history of the African superstar and how I got to be where I am today. If you come in the chat room, please make sure you like the stream. Big shout outs to the family. Yes. I also want to note that currently our platform has been demonetized on YouTube. And what that means is my content is not generating any pay right now. And that's why I've been scarce because obviously, um, we take time to create our content and it's a resource for YouTube and our viewers. And unfortunately, I'm not being compensated. So if you so choose to support the platform, you can still remit PayPal or Cash App or Zelle. It will be very greatly appreciated. Big shout outs to the family, Aphrodisiac Villas and Spas. Good to see you. The first one in the building tonight. Yes. So I want to share a little bit about my journey. So it was interesting. I kind of got into like a little discussion online today. There was a friend of mine who lives in the UK, and he was talking about how he's considering to relocate to the US. And he reached out to me and was talking to me, and I told him, I said, well, a lot of Americans are currently trying to leave America. Obviously there are many members of the diaspora that are moving abroad, and actually statistically this is um, the largest year for what's it called, expatriation. So when people actually renounce their citizenship in America to move abroad and things like that, it's currently the biggest year that has been requested. It's also been the largest year of people, Americans, getting their passports. Obviously that means they want to go abroad either for holidays or other reasons. So I want to talk about this because a lot of people may not know my story in particular, and I want to go ahead and share that with you guys. If you're here in the building, make sure you support the stream. Yes, 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 yes. Let YouTube know that you appreciate the African Superstars content. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. So obviously I'm born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. That's my hometown. Shout outs to those of you from some of my former classmates, some of my former associates, and things like that from Columbus. I attended the University of Cincinnati. Shout outs to all my Bearcats in the building. And I grew and began my professional career in America, in Ohio. I was also married there for a period, and essentially I was very unhappy with many factors of the American lifestyle and the mentality. And I always felt that I didn't belong. I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel that my goals were attainable. I'm someone who's extremely ambitious. I'm very goal driven. I'm very results driven. And I was ticking off a lot of accomplishments, in my life. I went to university. I got my career at, the dream career, I guess. I wanted to work and become an executive for a bank. So I began my career. Actually, I started with a small local bank in Ohio called Fifth Third. Then I moved up to PNC Bank. And then ultimately, the last bank I worked for in Ohio was JP Morgan, which at the time, JP Morgan Chase was the second largest bank in the US. So I don't know what it is currently, but it's a huge employer in Columbus, Ohio. And so I worked there and I was continuing my schooling. After the University of Cincinnati, I began taking computer networking and project management through ITT Tech. And so I was, I was working very hard to, secure that position. And that's when I became painfully aware of systematic racism. And I took it very, very offensively because, I think a lot of people don't really realize how systematic racism translates into so many different elements of your life. When you miss that promotion, it's not just missing that promotion. You're potentially missing, enhancing your resume, your work experience. You're missing out on additional pay and other perks that goes with that. You're missing out on the professional accolades and all of those things. And so when you start to realize that, wow, this systematic racism, it can potentially cripple my desire, my future goals. You know what I mean? Because you just can't supersede those things. And I was just very frustrated with the entire institution of racism as a whole, and feeling like the only recourse that Black Americans are given to fight injustices is, trying to utilize the legal system, trying to do protest or, some kind of legislation and all this stuff. And the reality is that you can actually use the master's tools to dismantle the master's house. um you will be limited in the amount of impact that you can have, and that's by design, because they're always going to have their best interests in mind. And I realized that that was just going to be a component of living there, was that I am going to be subject to these things. My peers believe that we should be subject to these things. This is how it is, and I should just be quiet. I should just go with the flow. So I decided, ultimately, after securing citizenship in the UK, to, as we say here in Ghana, jackpot. So I decided to, migrate to the UK. I took it as my opportunity to leave America, in which I was very, very disgruntled, had been very unhappy. I'd say for over a decade. I started realizing the discrepancies, I'd say, like in my early 20s. I really didn't have a huge concept of racism and all that stuff as I was growing up and went to high school. I became very aware of it when I moved to the university in Cincinnati, because Cincinnati is a very racist place. It's a conservative city, and it's an old mentality kind of place. And I was coming from Columbus, which is the capital, which is more progressive, more diverse, and more modern than Cincinnati. So, my university days got me very acclimated with certain circumstances. And then ultimately, when I began my career, I migrated to the UK in 2017. I enjoyed Europe, after touring it moderately, I'd say. Before I moved to the UK, I was frequenting there. I had been there probably maybe 3 or 4 times. I had also traveled to Italy. I had traveled to Germany. I had traveled to Spain. So I had kind of had a taste of Europe a bit before moving to the UK. And in terms of quality of life, I did feel that that was a power move for me, because at the time, what I wanted was the ability to travel. I wanted, a less stressful environment. I wanted, less blatant violence and, police brutality and all that stuff. I'll get to your questions in a minute, guys. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? What's up, family? Yes. I am currently demonetized. YouTube demonetized my channel probably a few weeks ago, which is why I've been scarce. This is my first live stream in a few weeks. So a lot of my content, some of my videos with more views and things like that, I have private in them, because obviously YouTube is still getting paid. They're still getting ad money, even though they have demonetized my channel. The reason they said is recycle content. So they actually deemed my own personal TikToks as reused content, because they had the TikTok watermark. It's absolutely absurd. It's like, it's my face, it's my content, but whatever. And that's the reason they gave me. So currently the platform is demonetized, which means If you want to, still contribute, you will have to do it outside of YouTube, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Momo, if you want to send it to me here in Ghana. And that's going to be the ways that you can support the platform while we are currently demonetized. So yes, I don't think the super chat's going to be available and anything like that currently. Sorry. Yes. So once I moved to the UK, like I said, initially I was happy. I felt like, okay, I did change some of the factors that I was unhappy with. But I just think that living as a minority, it just has its cons, you know, and unfortunately, we are going to face it no matter where we live. If it's Asia, if it's Europe, if it's probably, I understand there's a lot of colorism and stuff that goes in Latin America. I've never been to Latin America, and I was just tired of it. I was really tired of it. So a friend of mine, profoundly encouraged me to move to Ghana one day. I tell you guys a story. I had traveled from Northampton to London, and shout out to any of my UK viewers. Shout outs to any of you guys in Europe. Hello. You know that in some places, some of the towns that we live in, African restaurants and amenities, shops, clothing, hairdressers are in short supply. And so, sometimes you actually have to travel to these places. You'll actually have to go, plan a time and go to an African restaurant or, get your hair done and things like that. So I had planned to go to London, met a friend, and we went to this Ghanaian restaurant. And so I got there, and one of my favorite meals, shout outs to the family. We got 8 of you guys here. Does anybody know what my favorite Ghanaian food is? Shout outs to the family. Does anybody know what my Ghanaian favorite food is? If you guys have been watching this channel, you probably seen me eat it before or talk about it. Who's got a suggestion? Where my Ghana folk at in the building? What's my favorite Ghana food? I'll wait a minute. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. Let me start the comments. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, guys? If you miss me, show some love in the chat room. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment. First trivia question is, what is my favorite Ghanaian dish? Okay, so if you guys have been watching me, you probably heard me talk about it. I literally go eat it probably once or twice a week. So if you have my other social medias, you've probably seen me. I actually had some just yesterday. Yes. So big shout outs, guys. All right, let's see here. We have Aphrodisiac Villages. Thank you so much. Yes. These are all my awards currently, my plaques. Thanks to the African Superstar family. You guys voted for me in these competitions and made it a reality. And big shout outs to you guys. But yes, we are officially international and award winning. We have awards from South Africa and Paris in addition to Ghana. And all of that is a result of the actual African Superstar music lovers. Big shout outs to you guys. Yes. Is the camera still blurry, guys? Let me try. Let me try to clean it off. Is it still blurry? Aphrodisiac Villas and Spa said it was blurry. I'm sorry, I just saw that. Yes, I just went over that happy one. Yes, we are currently demonetized, and I did private a lot of my videos currently, and they will remain like that until the channel is remonetized. Yes, and I will be removing some content as well. Obviously, some of the TikToks that have the watermark, I will be having to take them off. So if you love some of my TikToks, make sure you follow me on TikTok. That way you will have access to, my TikTok content there, because I can't repost it on YouTube currently. Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? What's up? Aphrodisiac Villas and Spa. This is always a classic question that people ask. And we always give you guys the same answer. But he says, based on your experience and route, how much do you think a person needs to be ready before they make a move like that on a percentage level? Obviously, the budget is going to be unique to each individual. It depends on the components. You know, are you coming by yourself? Are you coming with children? Are you coming to start a business? Are you wanting to buy land or build? You know, you have to determine what you are coming to do. I would definitely say you would want to prepare a couple years of your income. Now, the advantage is if you're coming from the West, then currently, you know, your currency goes a lot further here in Ghana or most places on the continent. You know, Ghana is actually one of the more expensive African nations currently. So if you explore other countries, you may still be able to really get a great exchange rate, you know. But you'll want to know about that. You know, so if you find a place, for instance, and the rent is like $300 a month, you know, you're going to want to do the math as to having, like, I'd say 2 good years, especially if you're coming and starting a business, because your business may not profit immediately. And you don't want to be in a situation where you get to Africa and you need to start profiting, you know, within the first 2 months or 3 months, because it's just unrealistic and you don't know the climate and you need to give yourself a span of time. So I would say personally, prepare at least 2 years of expenses if you're planning to move here. You should be able to prepare that in your Western setting. You know what I mean? Maybe that's 10,000, maybe that's 20,000, maybe it's 50,000. It just depends on your needs, what you're coming to do. Are you going to ship a car? You know, you have to factor in everything you need to do. Now, I moved to Ghana as a single person with no children. I actually moved to Ghana with 10,000 USD. But when I came to Ghana, I also had my businesses, I had my website, I had my YouTube income, and things like that. So, you know, that's how I came. And I actually had prepared things. So the 10,000 was purely savings. You know, I had did other things like my visa, my shipping, and all those things were like not included in the savings money. So that's how I did it actually. But again, that is specific to each individual. So you'll need to create your own budget as to your own needs, how you want to live, and all of that. Big shout outs, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yes. What's up? Go taste and see. Big shout outs to Aphrodisiac Villas and Spa. He got it. Banku and tilapia is my favorite Ghanaian dish. Okay, so getting back to what happened to me in the UK. So I had traveled from Northampton to London to meet my friend, and we were going to this Ghanaian restaurant, and I was going there for banku, you know, and I hadn't had it in a while. And when I got the banku and I actually had to pay for it, you know, when you're abroad, it's like these foods are expensive. So I spent like 25, 30 pounds, you know, which is crazy here in Ghana. That's like several hundred CDs. And I didn't like the banku. And I started complaining to my friend, and I'm just like, man, I traveled all the way here to London, and you know, this is disappointing. And she said to me, she said, Gina, you're always trying to find Africa wherever you go. Why don't you just go home? And to me, that was just the most profound thing. It was like, you're right. Why don't I just go home? And that was in 2018, and I gave myself 2 years to prepare. I was due to move to Ghana in June 2020, and unfortunately the lockdown delayed that until September when the borders opened. Me and several other Pan-Africans from the West, we japa and we came to the continent, and several of us are still here. Some people didn't last, you know, had situations, whatever the case may be. But yes, so now I'm here in Ghana, and I've been here for over 3 good years. Shout outs to me. Yes. Congratulations to the one and only African superstar. Yes, we are weathering the storm. Yes. And I couldn't be happier. It was a life-changing decision, and it's something that I firmly stand by. Big shout outs to Stacy from Something for the Holidays. She recently celebrated her milestone 40th birthday. I was there in the building. Yes. And she asked a very interesting question. You know, we were having discussion after her birthday meal and everything. And she was asking some of the other diasporans that were there, you know, how, like, what is the impact that Ghana is having on you? Because I feel like it's bringing out things in me that I didn't know that I possessed. And that's the story of so many diasporans. I mean, here in this setting, you're able to really blossom. You know, you're able to really kind of discover who you are, your interests, your taste. I mean, when you grow up in a certain way and with all this grooming around you, you know, you're told what to like, you're told who to be, you're told what to aspire to. And a lot of times there's not a lot of exploration of yourself to actually figure out if this is really what you want. And I mean, I never knew that I had the capability to be a musician. It's not anything that I ever thought. Being a motivational speaker, you know, being a world traveler. These are things that, you know, growing up, I mean, I just wanted to have a corporate job. I just wanted to make good money and drive a nice car. And, you know, I just had the basic American dream aspirations kind of thing. So that in short is the African superstar story from America to UK to Ghana. It's a remarkable story, and it's really interesting. Even when I look back, I'm just like, wow, because obviously when you're in it, you don't really see it in an aerial view. You're just putting one foot in front of the other. And obviously when I lived outside, I was just so extremely driven to accomplish these goals. I was just like, I got to do it. I got to do it because there was a part of me that was so curious about how changing my environment was going to impact my life. When I was in America and I was preparing to go to the UK, I was just totally eager. You know, I just was like, I got to see what it's like. I got to experience this. I mean, it could be life changing for me, and I need to actually experiencing it to tick it off. And then once I got to the UK, I had that same zest to come and live in Ghana. And it was very impressive to me because obviously, you know, members of the diaspora, we are very removed from the continental life and cultures and things like that. So, you know, one might even doubt themselves of am I going to be able to make it, you know, in a foreign country without these connections and all this kind of stuff. But yes, I'm doing it. Big shout out to Samson, currently in the Congo. Okay, all right. Hope you're having a nice stay there. Big shout out to Samson. Yes. So what's up, family? It's the one and only African superstar. I had the thought today because I was having, like I said, this conversation on Facebook, and someone was asking me, you know, my opinion. And my opinion is that, you know, you need to fulfill your life's desire. You know, it's not for everyone what I'm doing, but you will know if it's for you because you will have the calling. You will be discontent, you know, in that situation. Now, when I was discontent, I mean, I had plenty of people around me that would complain, but at the end of the day, they were very content with their situation. You know, they weren't prepared to change it. They weren't prepared to take any dramatic moves. They had no strategic game plan as to how they were going to address the things that they were unhappy about. And, you know, I didn't also have the plan at first. I had to actually create the plan and then, you know, work it out and actually implement it and bring that thing to life. But I would say when you migrate, once you get one migration under your belt, future migrations become easier. You know, once you kind of figure it out, because I would say for a lot, for most places, especially if you're coming from Western nations and you want to travel the world and stuff, you know, the process to migrate is largely duplicated. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need a visa. You're going to need a place to live. You're going to have to create the networks. You're going to need a streams of income or a job. And these are things that I don't care where you move. If you go from America to China or America to Belize, it's going to be the same, kind of infrastructure that you need to create. And you know, going from America to the UK was just like not even really a big deal because obviously the Western system is very similar. I was able to move there, get into this, get into the system and get a job. And you can use Google Maps to navigate. And I mean, I was able to it wasn't a huge culture shock, for instance, going to the UK. Coming to Ghana took a lot more legwork, you know, but it's still very, very possible. And for me, it's absolutely hands down the most gratifying experience that I've ever had. I mean, it's like the biggest accomplishment of my life currently. To say that I reverse middle passage, you know, I am the first of my immediate family to tap into my indigenous African roots. And it's just amazing. And in this day and age, I get to actually share it with the world via social media. So it's not like I'm doing it and like nobody even knows. It's like I'm able to actually influence and become a resource to other people, connect with other people that are doing it. It's just fascinating, you know? So big shout outs, guys. What's up? I just decided to come. I'm not going to stay here long because it looks like, it's not that many of you here today. I understand. I understand. Yes. But I did want to come and update you as to what's going on. Obviously, during this period, I'll probably be kind of scarce. Now, I am uploading videos that I will be sharing once my channel gets back to its status. Yes. And I am sharing the shorts. I'm still posting the shorts pretty regularly. But in terms of like vlogs and live streams and all that, they will not be as frequent as usual because, like I said, YouTube is capitalized. And I mean, who does that? Yes. So I hope all is well with you guys. I do want to also remind you that I have an upcoming tour in March. If you are still interested in coming to Ghana, because I know some of you guys have expressed that in the past, please do get in touch with me. The tour is the first week of March, and we're still currently open to booking. You can get more additional information at www.tayeahuru.com. The whole booking and itinerary is there. So feel free to go there and check out what we have planned for you in March and go ahead and secure your spot. If you are like, oh yeah, Gina, I want to go, you can book your deposit on this website. So we would love to have you. Looking forward to our guests and preparing for that. And Mr. Uhuru and I are, I think, going to be a great team, great combination. And it will be a lovely opportunity for you to visit Ghana for the first time. So much love to the African Superstar family. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.